with another premium live event on the way. WWE Stories might be feeling a little rushed, should have some time to rest. But when it comes to WWE Stories, what current superstar is involved in the best?
And here we go.
Is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Glad you stopped by. And if you're brand new, welcome. Grab a seat and stay a while. But do me a couple favors first. Go down and hit that subscribe button. Go next door, ring that bell. Make sure it says all so you know when the next video pops up. Hit that like button. And before you head out, drop a comment. And if you're one of the regulars here, welcome back for another round. I ask that you also hit that like button. And before you leave, drop a comment, because YouTube does love the comments. And of course, share the video out on all social media. Alright, so coming off a premium live event, the WWE finds itself with yet another premium live event set for Glasgow, Scotland in just a week and a half. Now, despite the quality of the matches of these premium live events being quite good, it seems that the story behind them has been a bit lacking, shall we say. Now, we will go over who I feel is in the best stories at the current landscape of the WWE. But first, let's take a look at this past week's SmackDown and this past Monday on Raw.
Here we go. Here we go.
Now, we're going to start with SmackDown last Friday in Albany, New York. Now, the show starts off with Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax. She's out in the ring to cut a promo, talking about her championship opportunity at SummerSlam in August. She then calls out the current WWE Women's Champion Bayley, who, as she is walking to the ring, is attacked from behind by Piper Niven, along with Chelsea Green. Now, later on in the show, it was announced that Piper Niven will challenge Bayley for the Women's Championship at the Premium Live event.
Oh, goody.
Now, Nick Aldis was a very busy guy on this show, as Naomi interrupted a meeting he was having with Blair Davenport.
I'm sorry, who are you again?
Yeah, you remember the NXT call-up that hasn't been on TV, and this was over a month ago. Also, he had a nice little chat with Mr. LA Knight, who was looking for a certain United States champion, that being Logan Paul. Now, Paul Heyman had a great promo, backstage segment in with the Bloodline, where he was talking about the plans of Roman Reigns to get Cody into check. That was the overall plan. Where Solo says, "We've already got Cody in check, and he doesn't even know it." Paul Heyman then appropriately says, "Just who is we?" Kevin Owens' music hits. They send Paul out to the ring to handle this. And this is where Paul Heyman is at some of his best. He's having this promo with Kevin where he is genuinely scared of Solo and the Guerrillas of Destiny, the new rogue bloodline. And of course, Kevin does not believe him. And Paul just sells this. The fear in his face is just absolutely amazing. Now, the Guerrillas of Destiny and Solo Sikoa show up. Kevin Owens then has the Street Profits as backup. This leads to a match between the Street Profits and the Guerrillas of destiny, but possibly this could lead up to a Solo Sikoa versus Kevin Owens match coming up. Now, the show kind of ended, well, it did end. The last segment here was AJ Styles had come out to the ring where it seems like he was going to announce his retirement. He's wearing a nice powder blue suit, and he'd been talking about to Nick Aldis because he had lost the match to Cody Rhodes. He lost the King of the Ring match. He doesn't have a lot of time to get many more opportunities. So he calls out the OC and his boys from back in Japan. They're talking, they're doing the Too Sweet. And then he calls out Cody Rhodes to thank him for an amazing match at Backlash in Lyon, France. Cody Rhodes is thankful, he's raising his hand, cheering to the crowd. And then, just like Mark Henry did about 11 years ago, AJ Styles just blindsides Cody Rhodes. Obviously, this is from this feud that remained at Backlash, and there's going to be something going into the Premium Live event. Now, aside from that and the Paul Heyman segment, all in all, this episode of SmackDown,
boring!
And now that brings us to this past Monday on Raw from Hershey, Pennsylvania, which is ironically rather appropriate spot for Raw, as the first segment, Liv Morgan kicks off the show, not just talking about her achievements, her accomplishments, taking out Rhea Ripley, becoming Women's World Champion, as she put Becky Lynch into early retirement, but that the best part of it was the kiss, right, exactly, of Dominic Mysterio. Now, Dominic comes out to the ring trying to squash any implications or allegations, and then Liv just turns on her feminine charm and feminine wiles.
She's hot, definitely hot.
And then Finn Balor jumps in to cockblock and defend his boy, and tells Liv that nobody wants Liv around, especially no one in the Judgment Day. Sure thing, Finn.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Now, as for matches for the night, there were some great ones. Actually, the opening match of the night, probably the best one of the night, you had Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. This was, as Sheamus calls it, a banger. Absolutely brilliant match. Braun Breaker is just a badass and is very, very good in a non-squash match versus Ricochet. I mean, at the end of the match, he scales the ropes like it's nothing. As he's starting to fall backwards, hits a Frankensteiner from the top rope.
It's so badass.
Now, the Judgment Day overall had a very good night, as Finn Balor got a victory over Dragon Lee. Damian Priest not only won his match versus Rey Mysterio, but put Drew McIntyre through the announce table, as Drew McIntyre tried to jump in at the end to get to cheap shot Damian, and that was the closing image of the show. However, quite conspicuously, a member of the Judgment Day that was not there was Dominic. What you doing, Dom? But the best segment of the show involved Sami Zayn, the Alpha Academy, and Chad Gable. Now, after an attack from Chad Gable onto Sami, Gable continues to berate the Alpha Academy. He's slapping Otis around, and then Akira Tozawa stands up for Otis, and there's a pop. Chad goes after Tozawa, pushing him around. Maxine stands up for Tozawa, and there's a pop. Chad berates the both of them, tells them to get them out of the ring, and if he had half a brain, he would have kicked them out of and Otis comes over and steps face to face with Chad Gable. the crowd erupted. Absolutely erupted. And this is just simple storytelling that really works when everyone plays their part perfectly. And this segment has been wonderful. And judging by the crowd reaction, you can tell that the WWE universe is 100% invested in this story.
Well done. Well done.
So yeah, Chad Gable, Liv Morgan, two biggest stories on Raw. Who'd have thought? And really, that's what I want to talk about, story. Because that's really what is important when it comes to professional wrestling, especially with the WWE. Almost as important, if not more important, than what actually goes on in the ring. But not everyone gets a great story, including champions. So I want to take a look at these champions we have right now and to see who currently has the best story going forward. So we're going to start with the tag team division on both SmackDown and Raw.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Okay. You're right. You have a great point. They have no story. None of them do. So, moving on. We're going to go over to Bayley first. Now, ever since winning the WWE Women's Championship, she's had little to no story, to be quite honest. She had a triple threat match in Lyon, France, and she got an upcoming championship match against Piper Niven at Clash of the Castle. But to be quite honest, it just seems like she's just keeping the belt warm until at, I'm going to guess, the earliest SummerSlam, when Tiffany Stratton cashes in her Money in the Bank championship opportunity. Now we're going to go over to Logan Paul, the current United States champion. And about a week ago, they started to tease a story that just picked up a little bit this past Friday. And this story is now starting, and it's going to pick up some steam, but will end fairly quickly at SummerSlam in a feud that involves LA Knight. Now we're going to come to Cody Rhodes, and much like Bayley, kind of in just a holding pattern right now until his real story kicks back into gear, and that will happen with the reemergence of The Rock. Now, speaking of The Rock, really right now the best story, at least on SmackDown, still involves and still revolves around, and it has been for the last almost 4 years, revolves around the bloodline, as this chapter is being told with his cries for help, being told absolutely masterfully by Paul Heyman. And now we're going to go over to the Intercontinental Championship. And Sami Zayn, no disrespect to Sami at all, but the Intercontinental Championship right now has little to nothing to do with him. This story right now is all about Chad Gable and Otis. And this story is only able to be told now because of the historic run that Gunther had to raise the prominence, raise the prestige of the Intercontinental Championship. So you build the title up, so now you can tell these really cool stories that surround the championship. And next we got Damian Priest, and he's got a match coming up against Drew McIntyre, and we'll get to him. But really, his story, at least with Damian Priest, is trying to keep the Judgment Day together. We see the cracks beginning, as this is due to the absence of Rhea Ripley. Oh, absence of Rhea Ripley, huh? Who's responsible for that? Who's at the center of this whole thing? That's right, the current women's champion, Liv Morgan. As undoubtedly, and I've mentioned it already, the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour is the hottest show on Raw. But that's only because the best story has been a little out of sight, out of mind of late. And in a week and a half, it's going to kick right back up. Because the best story on Raw is the feud between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. But these are just my thoughts. I'm going to turn it back over to you. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Be sure to check me out tonight as we'll be going over all of this and a little more in depth on Wednesday night is Overbooked, simulcasting to this channel, 7 p.m. Pacific. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, folks. Again, quick reminder before you head out the door, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, hey, thanks for sticking around this long. I appreciate that. And I will see you guys all very soon. Hope you're having a great week. Have a wonderful rest of the week ahead of you. And always have fun. Hashtag keep talking. And always keep that smile on your face. Toodles.